All right, well, we're live. For some reason, the video decided to not work very well, so I just took that off. What's up, you guys? Welcome back. We are live. We are live on both Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So that's 3, not both, but you get the drift. I tried to put up our normal video, and for some reason it got stuck turning. So we're just going to forget about that. But say hi when you log on. If you're logging on Instagram, I would suggest you head over to YouTube because we will do screen shares over there. So you'll get to see the photos. When you're on Instagram, you don't get to see the photos. So, yeah, head over to YouTube. What's up? What's up? Yeah, say hello when you log on. We always give it a few minutes for everybody to get logged on and get moving. Yeah, I tried to put our normal trailer up, but the trailer wouldn't play. So that's interesting. I don't know what's going on with that. It's always something with technology, you know? So tonight I want to highlight our YouTube channel sponsors. We've got Liquid Sun Rayz. What's up? Welcome. Yeah, say hi when you get on here. So Liquid Sun Rayz is our proud YouTube channel sponsor. They also sponsor me personally as an athlete and have ever since I was an NPC athlete. I have used nothing but Liquid Sun Rayz my entire career except for my very first year. As soon as I started using Liquid Sun Rayz, I used nobody else. They are amazing when it comes to competition tan. It is the only tan out there that can get me dark enough. I'm obviously very pale skinned. It is the only tanner that gets me dark enough. Their customer service is ridiculously good. And if you have never used them before, you are missing out. So go ahead and scan that QR code right there. Our code for discount there is Cuties15, and that gets you money off everything on their site. Yes, say hello, say hi. Hi. We got a long one tonight, guys. So we're going to wrap up 2 shows and preview another one. So if you haven't done so already, I do have a new Instagram as well. It's Stage Ready by Sean. We are migrating everything over into the new branding. It's just taking us a little bit because when you start moving over URLs, it is a big task. So we are in the process of doing it. So make sure you're following us on both Sean's Couture and Stage Ready by Sean. One of the reasons why we started the Stage Ready by Sean is because I do coaching now too. So I want to be able to showcase my clients and everything on there as well. So make sure that you're following my Stage Ready by Sean. I already have been putting up lots of like macro tricks and training and things like that. So keep following over there too. What's up? Okay, so like I said, we always give it about 3 minutes or so for everybody to get on and to get settled in and get in the groove here. We are going to wrap up both Tahoe and Texas tonight. I know on the thumbnail I said Tahoe and not Texas. I don't know what I was thinking. I think the reason why I did that is because Texas, the Bikini girls went on stage on Friday versus Saturday. So for some reason I was thinking that Texas was last week when it wasn't. It was this week. I am blaming prep brain. That is what I'm going to blame. So I'm allowed to do that at this point. That's my excuse. So we are going to wrap up Texas, though. We're going to wrap up Texas and Tahoe. And then we are going to preview Nashville, which is looking ridiculous. And I'm so excited that I'm going to be there. I cannot wait. So before we get into that, though, let's talk about Texas first, since that was the first show this weekend. Here we go. Okay. So Texas had every division there this weekend. No surprise, Issa did win it. So, I mean, we kind of figured that was going to happen. And then from that point on, it was just a matter of who placed where in that top 5. So, yeah, the LSR body scrub is amazing. The scrub smells so good. And so does the body butter too. Fantastic. So we're going to go through the top 5 here for Texas. Lauren Kravalik, sorry if I pronounced her name wrong. She was here on our live when we previewed this. So she was able to let us know to look out for her actually because they spelled her name wrong on NBC News. So I didn't realize that she had actually placed a top 5 before because they had her under a different spelling for her last name. So they spelled her correctly here, hopefully. So she gets that record going. But let's pull up her photos here. This is the comparisons I have up. So let's pull this up. So in general, I thought this was a really solid package. I think that her posing for her frame and her physique and everything is really good. The one thing I would say, looking at her overall physique, is we're looking a little bit top heavy here, meaning we got some pretty big shoulders, some really big width in that back, and then we're seeing a little bit of thickness in that lower back too. So I'd say that's probably where she needs to be careful as far as muscularity is concerned. She's probably getting a little bit on the too big side, going towards figure realm at this point. In general, I think her conditioning is right on. I think her conditioning is right there. I like the suit color. I like the cut here. Everything. It's a pretty look all together. I would just say, just to be careful about adding too much more size up top here, at least from the front shot. So we're gonna look at her back shot as well. So let me find a back shot for you. And this is, you guys, the other thing too, when you're logging on to these, I welcome your comments, your questions, all that kind of stuff too. So as we're moving along here, if there's something you want to type in, feel free to go ahead and do that. Now the chat is a few seconds behind, so I have to kind of wait. Like I'll answer your stuff when it comes up, but it takes about 30 seconds or so for most people for that to actually come up. So from the back here, again, I would say she's got to be a little bit careful in muscularity. I feel like her muscularity is almost too much. Conditioning looks good. She's not too tight to the hamstrings, though those are pretty etched in. So gonna have to be careful with that. I think that in general here, her legs are overpowering her glutes a little bit. I don't necessarily think that her glutes are small or her legs are big. I just think that her legs are a little bit bigger than her glutes, if that makes sense. So I'd like to see her balance a little bit better. And I think the best way for her to do that is just to be careful of the leg growth, grow some more upper glute so that we see glute up in this area, up in here, right? So in general, I wouldn't change a whole lot more back here other than just watch not getting too much more size in the legs and not too much more conditioning either. Got to be careful of this muscularity in the back. And this looks pretty arched here too. I would probably relax this a bit. I think she might be over posing. If she was to pose this a little bit softer, I think that her glutes might pop a little bit better. So that would be my 2 cents here. Lauren, yeah, there's going to be a lot of, yeah, she's going to be in Nashville too. Yep. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of girls that competed this weekend that are competing in Nashville as well. Yeah. We have Lana. So Lana came in 4th. Pretty look all the way around. She's always a stunner. Like she's always one of those girls you're going to look at on stage and think she's beautiful and all of that. So that's no surprise, I would say in general, she's a little bit soft still, especially from the back. From the front, not too bad. Like from the front, she's tight to the waistline, but I just feel like she needs a little bit more density in her muscle. And I would say that she needs some more legs. That was one thing I really noticed with her in comparison to the other girls. Her legs aren't quite as full and round as some of the other girls are. So I would like to see a little bit more density there, a little bit more size, a little bit more density, a little bit more size in the legs. Probably a little bit more on the shoulder as well. In general, again, really pretty look overall. And I do think that she's gotten better since her last show, but I think she still needs to grow a little bit more. Let's see if we can get a back shot here. Well, get to the 4th page before we get to a back shot, I think. There we go. Here's one where she's posed. And from the back, definitely needs to be tighter. And what I mean by tighter is she needs more muscle. She needs more density. She needs more glutes. Legs are okay, but she still could stand to be a little bit denser in the legs. Still could use some more shoulder caps in the back too. Just in general, just needs some more size. I think that her conditioning is very good for where she is as far as her actual muscularity and level of muscularity at this point. But she needs some more upper outer glute because without that, she looks a little bit leg heavy here and she still looks a little bit soft. And I don't think the softness is from her not being in shape. I think the softness is from her needing more density and more muscle. Just in general, when you gain more muscle, muscle, it's going to push up against the skin and make you look more conditioned. So she just needs another layer of muscle on her frame. Overall, she's going to be somebody that you're going to look at every show because she's gorgeous and she's got a great shape and frame. But where she's going to get beaten by these girls is in the muscularity. So that's where she needs to grow. On the other side of that coin is Lisa. So Lisa is qualified already. She's competed a few times over here in the States. She does get into the first call out quite often when she's here in the States, but her level of muscularity is on the other side of this coin where she's too muscular. Specifically her upper body. One of the things that I have a hard time with competitors sometimes is when they are given feedback and they don't fix it. This front pose just really needs to be fixed. She's posing too straight on here. She's posing quite a bit like a figure girl here. She looks very, very dense in that upper body, very, very dense and very wide, like a figure girl, right? So I have mentioned this before with her. I'm not a fan of her hair and makeup or suit. It's still on the orangey red color look, and I don't like that on her. She's just very dense. Now she's got a great shape. You can see here that pop in her upper glute is ridiculously good. Like that's always going to get her looked at because of this shape right here, this curve right here. But she's just really thick and dense to that upper body. So, I don't know, once you've grown that muscle, it's hard to pull it back, it's hard to pull it back down. That density is maturity more than anything else. And I don't really know how you fix that. So, like I said, she's always going to do decent here in the States. She's always going to win shows over in Europe because they do have a little bit more muscularity over there. But then the crazy part about it is you turn her to the back and she doesn't have that density from the back. She has it from the front, but not from the back. And I'm still like, cut the hair, you guys. The hair, every show that she's been here in the States and overseas too, her hair's been messy. Again, the glam look needs to be amplified. She absolutely needs to fix this glam. When you're here in the States and you're against girls that look gorgeous like Lana, this does not fly, right? So fix the hair, cut the hair, make it look clean, this looks like she rolled out of bed and walked on stage, right? And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's just the truth. And I've said it several times for her feedback being in these shows. So maybe somebody will listen to me. Fix her hair and makeup and her suit, fix her presentation, right? From the back, she's got great pop in the glutes. And again, that's why she gets looked at, because she's got that really awesome pop in her glutes. She needs to fix all these other little things though if she wants to move up here in the States and also at the Olympia, right? She needs to fix these other things if she wants to be in the top tier of these athletes. So that's my 2 cents on Lisa. The reason why I get passionate about stuff like this sometimes is because those things are fixable, right? The presentation things are 100% fixable. They're 100% fixable. So fix them. Tamikia. So Tamikia came in second. This was a very good package for her. She always looks very good. She's always going to be in that top call out. She's going to be somewhere between first to, fourth or fifth. Where she struggles is in conditioning more than anything else. Sometimes she has a little bit too much. Sometimes she has a little bit too little. From the front, she's always pretty spot on from the front. This is a really, really good pose from the front. Very well put together. Very, on the flip side, again, from what we were just talking about with Lisa, Tamiki has got her presentation, her look on point. I love the yellow suit. I love how clean her makeup look is. Like, all of this is very, very beautiful. So, on the opposite side of the clean stuff up, she's got it. She's got that part down. Now, I'm going to show a different shot of Tamikia because this is where we see why she's having a hard time winning a show. She's been to several shows this year, and I know she's gotten feedback about her conditioning because I talked to her about this kind of stuff. This is where she loses shows right here. I'm going to show you. Ready? This shot right here. And the reason why is because she's got that little bit of fat underneath her glutes. Okay. That little bit of pocket underneath her glutes. It's squishy fat, right? So she needs to get rid of this fat. But the problem with that is that if you do that, then you can end up coming in too skinny and too lean. So what I think she needs to do is I think she still needs to add on some more glutes. She needs to add some more density and muscle to her glutes, so that will fill that out. So since it fills it out, she can get a little bit leaner and she's not going to look too thin. But this right here This right here is what's keeping her from winning a show right now. Let's pull up a full-on back shot. Her back shot, again, is killer when she's in it. But I still think she needs more glutes. I still think she needs to add some more size to her glutes. Here you go, right here. So if she was to add some more projection to her glutes, that would finish off this look, and she would be very, very hard to beat if she was able to do that, because then her hamstrings would pop just enough. Her waistline is so tiny from the back. If she could add just a little bit more oomph to those glutes, she would be money. She would be money. So that's where she's still lacking just a little bit there in that density. So if she can get that pulled up, she's going to be really, really hard to beat. She's going to be very, very hard to beat. And then, of course, we had Issa winning it, which we assumed was going to happen. Now, again, she did not win this last year. She lost it to Ashlyn, so she kind of had a vendetta. She wanted to come back and win this. As far as her look at this show, I actually liked her look at this show a little bit better than Tampa. I know some people liked her Tampa look better. I liked this look better. I liked the blue on her. I wish, and I've said this before, she likes to do these velvet suits. I wish she would just do a regular blue suit, just a regular blue suit, not velvet. I think that would look phenomenal on her. I like this front pose better than what she did in Tampa. It's a lot more relaxed. Let's take a look at her back shot. To me, like, I just felt like at this show, she was just a little bit softer in general than she was in Tampa. And personally, I liked that look. I liked the look of her a little, just a touch softer. Now, you might say she doesn't have quite as much oomph and pop here in the glutes as she did in Tampa, but I kind of like this look on her. Again, I don't know what her feedback was here. They may have told her she needed to come in looking like she did in Tampa and just come in a little bit tighter, that kind of thing. I'm not sure. Where she could improve here is the hair is pretty messy right here. She's got a few pieces of her extensions that are longer than the rest. She needs to brush out the curls, that kind of thing. Ladies, I've said this 1,000 times. When you go get your hair styled for the show, usually your hairstylist is going to keep the ringlets in like this so that you don't lose your curl throughout the day. Make sure that you brush it out before you go on stage. Finger brush it, whatever. Make it look clean. This just looks messy again. So, but also it's not even just the curls. It's just she's got a couple pieces of extensions that are longer than everything else. And it just doesn't fit. So she's just got to clean that up a little. Again, I think she still needs some more density in the glutes in general, just so she can really get that solid pop here, which is why I think she looks a little bit different here versus what she looked like in Tampa. But it's just like I said, in the overall look, I think that I liked this overall look on her better than Tampa, me personally. Don't know if the judges felt that way, but that's how I felt. I just liked her overall look better here. Pretty clear she was going to win the show. Not a big surprise, that kind of thing. So now it's just a matter of, her taking whatever her judging feedback was from the last two shows and applying that towards the Olympia. I know she wants to come back and win the title again, and I think that she does have a very valid shot at doing that, So let's move over to Tahoe. Tahoe was an interesting one, you guys, because we didn't have any big names in this show other than Jessica. Now, the girl that came in second, this was actually her pro debut, and she won the Masters over 35 at this show. So that was interesting. So the girls that we talked about being towards the top in this one, a couple of them were, a few of them weren't. So we don't have a ton of photos from this particular show, so I'm not going to go through individual photos on these girls, but I will pull up the comparisons so we can look at the top girls in comparisons. But Roxana was in fifth. She's a previous Olympian. We don't have a full-on back shot of her here, so I can't really comment on her back shot other than when we pull up those comparisons, we'll take a look at her. But she tends to be a little bit soft in the lower half, and just looking at this particular photo of her, I would say her overall body looks a little soft. I would say she looks a little soft in general. Don't know if that's the case. Again, we don't have full, individual shots of her. We've only got a handful. So just from what I'm observing here, I think she's a little bit soft. We had Lauren Blanco in fourth. Not super familiar with Lauren either. Looking at her placings, she placed sixth in Tampa. Okay, she's from overseas. So she has some tanning issues. That was the biggest thing that I noticed. So I'm going to pull up her back shot here because you can clearly see the tanning issue. Not sure what happened here, but she's very splotchy on the back. She's very, very dark and she's very splotchy, which I do think probably affected her at this show. Hair looks a little bit messy as well, so a little bit dry, that kind of thing. Another one where she needs to just clean up that hairstyle. We are going to look at the comparisons again because we don't have very many individual shots, but you can see all the splotchiness in the tan here. So that probably hurt her, I'm guessing. And again, we don't have a full-on front shot. So next one is Sarah. So Sarah, again, she's done decent in smaller shows overseas, that kind of thing, but nothing really of note here in the States. You can see she took 11th at Tampa Pro. She's a cute girl. Like, she's got a cute look. I do remember talking about her in Vancouver, I believe it was. She's just a little bit top heavy. I mean, you can clearly see that here. She's top heavy in that shape. Upper body is very dominant. This looks like a figure girl in a bikini pose, right? Yeah, she's dense. She's got a very European look to her, right? And we're talking about her overall look. Sorry, it's hard to compare these shots because we just don't have very many. And I don't like to claim that this is her full-on back pose here because it might not be. It's the only one we have though. And she's bent over quite a bit. She's bent over in this back pose quite a bit, and that's really affecting her overall shape. It's actually flattening her glutes out, making them look very square and very wide. She stood up a little taller here. It would make her shape look a lot better. So again, posing issue for sure here on her. And then we have Cynthia, who was in second place. Now, just looking at this particular shot right here, she looks very conditioned to me. And to me, she looks a little bit knock-kneed. Like, it's almost like she needs to push those knees out a little bit. And she's also pinching in her back. Now, again, this may not be her actual back pose because we don't have a full-on back pose of her. So again, this could be something in the middle of a transition or something like that. So I don't want to judge her too hard. But those are just things I would look at because if the photographer caught it, then the judges caught it too, right? And we don't have a full front pose either. But I will say, again, we're going to pull up the comparisons. And from the comparisons, her front pose looked a little bit strained and forced. So she just needs to work on some posing stuff too. Now, Jessica won this. Going into this show, we knew Jessica was kind of the front runner as it was. So that's not a surprise to me. I mean, when I saw everything popping up on social media, I assumed she was winning this show. Jessica has one of the best front poses in the league. This is in between. This is not her fully posed. This one here is closer to her fully posed, but still not fully posed. When she's fully posed, her frame just really pops, and it looks like she's not doing anything, and it just pops. Now, I was laughing because she wore the blue suit. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the live stream when we talked about her suit in Chicago with the coral. I told her that I would like to see her in a blue. I don't know if I told you guys that, but I know I told her that. So it made me laugh when she showed up in this suit. So when I saw everything pop up after prejudging, I shot her a quick message. I was like, look at you in the blue. And she immediately called me. So we talked in between prejudging and finals. And it's actually a purple suit, but it has blue stoning on it. So under the light here in Tahoe, it ended up coming out really, really blue. But it's more that color blurple that we talk about all the time, where it's the purple suit with the blue stones. And she actually told me when she first got the suit, she wasn't really feeling it, but her coach loved it. So she went with it. And I think this is her suit now. I think this is her color. I think this is it. So I was like, oh, I think I might have had something to do with that. I'm just saying I might have had something to do with that. I've been saying for years, she should go into a more, darker, like pop of jewel tone color, and it absolutely worked for her. Now, again, we don't have a full back shot. So let's go to comparisons. I'll pull up a few comparisons. I pulled up the last page of comparisons because that's where we've got the top 4 here. So we can really take a look at them. All right, so here's your top 4 in that comparison shot. Let's click through a few of these because I want to get the 2 girls next to each other that were Well, I guess we can do this. So, looking at the shot here, this is what I was talking about with Jessica. Jessica, when she stands in her front pose, she looks like she's just standing there, right? Like she's not even working hard. That's just how she is. And that goes over huge on stage, right? So Cynthia's right here. She took second. You can see her arm, for some reason, she's got this like lat flare going on. That is very figure-esque. So she definitely needs to fix that, relax that. I mean, in general, I think she has a very good frame, but I think she just needs some polish, right? Again, this is her pro debut, so she did phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. The other two ladies up here in this top four, again, are European or Canadian competitors, that kind of thing too. So I don't remember where they're from. I could look it up, but that will take time, so I'm not going to look it up. But you can see here her tanning issues. Like, this is a bad tan. This is a really bad tan. So whoever did her tan, I mean, she should have gone and rinsed and redone it, but she's just splotchy everywhere, and I'm sure that affected her score. She might have been able to bump up a spot or two if she didn't have those issues going on. So let's click through a few of these, get them to the back. Yeah, it's a really bad tan. Well, I'm trying to get them to the back. Well, here we go. We got them all posed. So there's that. So again, you can clearly see, I mean, Jessica to me is the standout. She's got just enough muscle, really well balanced from top to bottom, not too much, not too little of anything, right? So I think these two girls that are on the outside now, I think they're actually a little bit too muscular and too conditioned, and that's why they got moved out, in my opinion. Let's get them into a back shot. Okay, so here we are in a back shot. Again, tanning issues like no tomorrow. I really think that if she did not have those tanning issues, we may be looking at a different scoring here. She may have bumped up into the second place spot, that kind of thing. She does look very, very good. It's just the tan, so that's unfortunate. But you can see here how flat her glutes are. She's kind of sitting into this pose weird. Let me see if she's fully posed. Yeah, she's fully posed. So posing issue. This is still a posing issue here too. So we mentioned that in her individual, it looked like her knees were kind of knock-kneed a little bit. They are. She's definitely very hard. You can see she's tied in very, very tight here. This is too much as far as conditioning is concerned. Same thing here. This is too much as far as conditioning is concerned. Again, if her tan was a little bit lighter, it may not have looked like this, so that might have helped her. Jessica is right on with her conditioning. We've got the tie-in, but not too much. One thing that Jessica's really done well over the last couple of years is she's pulled up her upper glute a lot. Her upper glute used to be her biggest weakness, and that's why she would lose shows. Same thing we were just talking about with Tamikia, right? Jessica's done a really good job of building up her upper glute. So where she needs to be careful is just the conditioning in general. Sometimes she comes in a little bit too soft. From this particular photo, she looks like she's right on. Now, the other thing I'll say too, I mentioned this from Chicago. From Chicago, I wasn't a fan of her hair because it just needed some more blending with her short hair and the extensions. This looks really good. This looks like it blends more. I don't know if she added more or what, but this looks a lot better than what she did in Chicago. Just in general, this show look for her is like 10 times better than what she did in Chicago. So it's pretty clear she was the winner here, in my opinion. And then you see that width in the back into the lower back here too. So really, really good job. Very, very happy with Jessica. Obviously, she's one of my favorites. So I'm very happy to see her going back to the Olympia again. We always talk about being, when we were on the phone before finals, we were joking about the fact that we're 43. We're not 43 yet. I turned 43 in about 6 weeks. She turns 43 in 10 days after me. So we're not 43 yet. We're almost there. We're 42. But the fact she can qualify for the Olympia at 42 years old is pretty freaking spectacular. So hats off to her. So that wraps up our shows from this past weekend. Now we are going to go into Nashville, because Nashville is going to be a barn burner, you guys. This lineup is ridiculous. So the cool thing about this lineup is it's very deep and it's full of very high quality competitors, but nobody is a shoo-in. Not one person is a shoo-in for this. Like typically, we talked about it at Texas, we pretty much knew Issa was going to take that. Tahoe, we pretty much knew that was going to be Jessica's show as long as she came in on point, and she did. Here, we had nobody like that. We had nobody. because nobody's qualified for the Olympia. We've got a bunch of girls here that have already placed top 5, but there's nobody qualified right now. So this is going to be a really, really good show because there's nobody that's a clear favorite here, and there are a lot of top 5 competitors here. So we have a bunch of ladies that have already just competed this past week, so I'm not going to talk about them again, but you can clearly see them here on the list. We've got Lauren Blanco on here. We've got Tamikia on here. We've got Lana on here. We've got Lauren. We just talked about her. Who else? Am I missing anybody that competed this past weekend? Top 5s. I think that's all of our top 5s from this past weekend. Looking at it again, make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I missed anybody. So they're all competing again. So obviously they're going to be front runners going into the show. But we've got a bunch of other ones as well. So I've pulled up, I thought I pulled them up already, but I guess I didn't. Rhoda. So Rhoda, she placed top 5 at the Atlanta show. She has been placing top 5 here. If you're questioning, here's her record right here. So she placed top 5 already this year. You can see she placed 4th here last year. This is actually the show last year. I was like, ooh, who's that girl? She's gorgeous. This is the show that I saw her at, was Nashville. So she's definitely one to be paying attention to. She's kind of a sleeper here. She hasn't come out and won a show or anything like that, but she is gorgeous, beautiful look on stage. So I'm curious to see her on stage this year in comparison to what she looked like last year. Definitely want to be watching right here. Next one, I pulled up Tamikia. Okay, well, we already know Tamikia because we just talked about her. So she's definitely a front runner going to this show as well. We got Jessica. So Jessica Delias, she has not competed since the Olympia this past year. Well, they don't have, let's see if they have her under this one right here. Here we go. So she hasn't competed since the Olympia. She's been off stage all year. I've seen her in person a few times. She has absolutely improved her shape. So I'm curious to see what she looks like on this stage. She could absolutely come out and win this. Absolutely. We'll see. We'll see. Again, she hasn't been on stage since last year, almost a year ago. So that'll be cool to see. We also have Liana. So again, another one that has not been on stage all year, but she's been a perennial top 5 competitor, right? So last year, again, 6th, 7th, she was just outside of top 5s last year. So she took some time off. Hasn't been on stage in over a year. So she should look quite a bit different, so I'm curious to see what she looks like this year. See if she's fixed some of her errors, and who knows, she could be a winner here today or this weekend too. Then we have Adair. So Adair is another one that's taken a good long off season. Did she make it to Olympia last year? No, she didn't make it to Olympia last year. So she, again, has not been on stage for over a year. So she's been working on her shape and everything too coming into the show. She's definitely one to be looking at for sure. Be paying attention to Adair too. Then we have Jennifer. So Jennifer, you all know Jennifer. She's commented here on this video. She has not been on stage for a year as well. It's been almost a year for her too. Last year, she only did one show. She did make it into the top 6 there, and then she's placed top 4 in the past next to Ashlyn and Romina. So that's a name I'm actually surprised I haven't seen yet this year is Romina. We haven't seen Romina come back out. So I was kind of surprised. I thought I was going to see her in the show list. Anyway, Jennifer looks phenomenal going to the show. This is by far her best physique right now. So I'm very, very curious to see how this plays out for her. And I mentioned this on Behind the Bikini yesterday that she could very easily win the Best Poser Award that they're doing here at the Nashville Fitshow. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. I definitely have good vibes, good feeling for her going into the show. Clearly, I'm going to be there, helping every step of the way, and hopefully, getting her up into that top call out. I really think that she can do that. So looking forward to seeing that in person. We have Naday getting on stage too. Again, I feel like she's competed once this year. Am I wrong? Maybe they spelled her name differently. I thought she competed once this year. She is a previous Olympian, so we do have her getting on stage. I thought she competed just a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Maybe they spelled her name wrong or something. But anyway, she's definitely one to be watching as well because she has been to the Olympia too. And then I also brought up Tiana. So she has been placing top 5 as well. She's a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit on the softer side. She's a young girl, but again, has placed top 5. So she's definitely not one to not watch, right? This show, like I said, is full of top 5ers. So that right there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls that have placed top 5 or have been to the Olympia. And that's not including the girls who just competed this past weekend. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 top 5 girls. 12 girls on this list that have had top 5 finishes or been to the Olympia, haven't been on stage for a while, but have been to the Olympia. So this show is going to be very, very difficult. If you're placing in this show, you're doing good. That's 12 girls right there that have already placed top 5 this year, right? That's huge. And again, none of them have won a show. So this could go to anybody this weekend. This could literally go to anybody. And it could go to somebody that I didn't mention. It could go to somebody on this list that I didn't even mention, right? So go ahead, shout it out. Who do you got for this show? Who do you think? Give me your top 3. Who do you think is going to be in your top 3 for this show? I can tell you on my end, while we're waiting for you guys to put your 2 cents in. Bring it down a little bit so you can see all the names. I'm going to do a top 4. Ooh, this is hard. Tamikia, Jessica, Jennifer, and Adair. That's my top 4. That's my top 4. Did you say right here? Jessica, yeah, I've got Jessica in my top 4. I'm gonna say those are my top 4. So I'm locking in my top 4. That's gonna be, like I said, Tamikia, Jessica, Jennifer, and Adair. That's my top 4. Right there. So, but like I said, this could literally go any which way. I mean, it really could. It's going to be it. I can't wait. This is going to be a great show. So guys, I am going to go live at the show. I think they've got a live stream. So if that's the case, I will not be going live on my, I won't be able to show on live. So what I'm probably going to do, again, this is going to depend on how I can actually set this up at the show. I will probably go live on my YouTube like I am right now, but I'll just be showing my face like I did at the Arnold, right? If they aren't allowing photography like that, then I'll go on Spotify. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know what we're allowed to do and what we're not. As long as they're allowing, video, that kind of thing, which usually they do. Usually they allow video at this show. Then I will basically film my face talking. So I won't film the actual stage because they've got the live stream, right? I don't want to take away from their live stream, but then that way you can listen to the commentary as I do it. And I'll do it right here on YouTube, as long as they're okay with me doing that. If they're not okay with me doing that, then I'll do my Spotify and it'll go up after. Okay. This is going to be, if you guys want to get a live stream this year, this is the one to get. This is the one to get right here to buy a live stream for sure. It's 100% a show to watch because again, this is like a little, like we talked about Pittsburgh being like a mini Olympia. This is kind of a mini Olympia too, because all of these girls are girls that are like right on the heels of getting to the Olympia. They're right here. They're not quite here. So one of them could push up and over. And if you remember this time last year, Ari won this show last year, and that's what really put her on the map going into the Olympia. So yeah, this is gonna be a crazy show, you guys. This is gonna be a crazy show. So top 5 is yeah. Happy to be here. Well, and that's the thing, is like when you're in a show like this, the experience itself is worth being there, right? Like they just do a really good job. Again, when you're talking about an all-female show, it is 100% catered towards the athletes, right? Which is amazing. That makes it so much fun. As a female athlete, it makes it a lot of fun. It makes it special. You get some of the, like we were talking about, I'm behind the bikini last night. You know, you get some of the best photos, some of the best videos that they're just pretty. You know, you don't get that in other shows. You don't get pretty in other shows. You get pretty at this show, which is really, really awesome. So I'm really looking forward to this show. So again, pay attention here. I will post on my Instagram and let you guys know what I'm able to do as far as the live commentary is concerned. If I'm allowed to go live on my phone, I'll do it that way. If not, I'll do Spotify and I'll let you guys know, and I'll put it up as soon as prejudging ends out. But NPC is first in the morning, and then pros go on right after NPC. So I'm assuming NPC is probably around noon-ish is when we'll see the pros get on stage. NPC starts at 9 a.m. So yeah, we'll probably see noonish for pros for start time. So just pay attention. Again, pay attention to Instagram, all that kind of stuff. We'll be updating as we go, and it's gonna be a good time. It always is. Nashville's always a good time. You guys have any questions before we finish out for tonight? I'm gonna leave it open for a minute or so. Again, get your picks in, your top 4 picks. Get them in. Lock them in now. I should start doing some like giveaways or something. Like if you get the top, if you tap in prior to the show, I should do a giveaway. That's what I'll do. I can do that. I've got a bunch of stuff from Prozis. So let's do that. Put your top 4s in right now while we're here on live. I'll leave it open for another minute or two. Put your top 4 in. If you get it right, I'll send you out a gift pack. Cool? Put your top 4s in. Got to get all top 4 right. You don't have to get it in order. But if you get all top 4 correct, I'll send you out a little goodie bag of Prozis stuff, like protein bars and stuff. So for those of you that, let me pull that QR code up for you. Here's the QR code. There we go. So for those of you that never tried their stuff, go check them out and use our code Cuties10. I think final starts at 4, pretty sure. But if you go to NashvilleFitshow.com, you'll be able to find their schedule. I'm pretty sure I think final starts at 4. I'm pretty sure. Sometime I'm glad to be older and not competing against them. Yeah, like I said, I think it's 4 o'clock. Tamikia, Jessica, Lana, and Adair. There you go. Yeah, but you got another. I'll keep it open another minute. Lock in your top 4s. If you get it right, I'll send you some goodies. Lock in your top 4. Yeah, this is gonna be a good show. I'm pretty happy that I've been to like the major shows this year. Like Pittsburgh was a big one. New York is always a big show, but it just wasn't deep for New York, you know. This one. Yeah, come find me. I'll be there. Like I always say, if you see me, come say hi. You can't miss me. I'm the tallest chick there. When I used to have pink hair, I used to say, you cannot miss me. Like there was a year for the Olympia at the press conference, and there's pictures on NBC News Online, and you can see in the audience, and you can see my head, and actually at prejudging too, you can see the pink hair in the audience. I'm like, there I am. You can see my pink hair everywhere. There we go. We got Tamikia, Jessica, Lana, Liana, Rhoda. I could see Rhoda up in the top 4 too, for sure. She was actually when I was going back and forth with in my head at the end, but I was trying to pick my 4th one. It's a tough pick for that top 4 for sure. Tamikia, Lana, Jessica, Rhoda. It's hard because some of these girls have never been outside the top 5, you know? So there's a good handful of them, right? Like Lana's always in the top 5. So far, Rhoda's been in the top 5. Jessica's always in the top 5. You know, everybody, like it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's it for this week's wrap up and preview. stay tuned. Like I said, follow me if you're not already on Stage Ready by Sean. I'm going to start. I'm using that one. I'm using it more and more every day. So keep updated on there. I'm using that one more than my Sean Couture one at this point. So yeah, I just we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. But I'll keep everything updated right here, and on my personal one as well, of course. But all of the stage stuff will be for sure on the Stage Ready by Sean. So make sure you're on there. And with that, you guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. I gotta go eat. I'm freaking starving. Your girl's in prep. You know how it goes. I gotta go get my food. You can tell I'm in prep when I've got the veins. The veins don't want to go away. The veins right here, those don't go away. At this point, I'm so lean. That's it. They're just there to stay. You know I'm in prep and you see those those temple veins. They're not going nowhere. All right, guys, have a great night.